This video is sponsored by my picture. Afternoon folks, welcome back to the channel and another video, trying out another lens today. And this one excited me quite a bit when I knew I was getting it, because this is a focal length I've wanted to try out for quite a while, and it's a 23mm, specifically the 23mm F1.8 from TTArtisan. I have had this lens for a few weeks now, done a couple of photo shoots with it, took a few photos. I had it on a recent trip to Tuscany, but I didn't get too much time there to take too many photos. Got a couple, which I think are okay. I haven't even got around to editing them yet, but the few shots that I did get to take with it, I do like the focal length. I said before that I think it's a focal length that I'll really like to use, because I love the 35mm, but at times I do feel like it's a little bit tight, and this gives you a bit more width. I would like to maybe try like a 27 or something, but so far I have really liked using this, and we've got a few more shots today and hopefully going to get a few more and just show you what this thing can do.
He's having a wee scratch.
By the way, this lens was sent to us by the guys over at TTArtisan, so thanks very much. Look forward to using this a lot more. Just here with my new mates. Not sure how much they like me. I was trying to get a photo. I think I got one, but it's tricky because we're down low. So I was hoping one of them would put their head over the fence enough to get a photo. But anyway, when it comes to the price of this thing, which I like to touch on first because it's a big selling point of these lenses. It's an important point when it comes to buying any lens. And I've wrote down the prices. These are kind of rough because the lens is quite new and it's different prices in different places, but it's roughly, I think, around £139, which is about €167 or $176, compared to the 23mm from Fuji, the 23mm F2, which in very good condition, if you're going to buy it off like somewhere like MPB, would be around £290 to £320, which is about $360 to roughly $400. So quite a bit more expensive than this lens. Obviously better build quality and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a budget lens. You're not going to find too many lenses at a better price than this one. At this focal length, there isn't too many options.
Was anybody listening to that? Because I was watching this guy.
So before the light gets real nice, I'll do my blabbering now. So when it comes to the build quality of this lens, it is a metal body lens, which is good. It's a pretty slick looking design. There isn't really much to it. Oh, I'm taking photos here by accident. The bit that obviously connects to the lens as well is metal, which is the most important part. I know a few of the other lenses that I've tried have been plastic, but this one's fully metal. The only thing that is plastic is the lens cap, which does feel kind of cheap. I hate putting on plastic lens caps. They're just, they just don't feel the greatest going on. But I mean, it does a job. For this price point, it's kind of what you have to expect. But yeah, good build quality, besides the cap. I don't know if I was saying cap there. Lens hood is plastic. The cap's also plastic, but yeah, for that price point, It's pretty decent, to be fair, getting anything being metals, really. Christina doesn't want to walk through all the seaweed. She doesn't have the correct footwear.
There's so many!
Not that I do either, but... Walk up this bit and then this bit here isn't wet.
Ew! That's gross. I don't like it.
So one of the obvious things with this lens, which may be a problem for some of you, and you may have noticed it from those first few shots in this video, is that there is no aperture ring on this camera. There is just a focus ring, which is what this is. And it does feel quite smooth, so if you use manual focus, which I don't on digital cameras, I think this will work quite well for you. But there is no aperture ring. Whenever I put this lens on the camera, the aperture automatically switches to the front dial. So that's what I've been using for these photos, to switch back and forth, which works pretty decently. It's probably a little bit slower than having the aperture on the camera because your hand is on the lens, so you can change things, whereas with this, sometimes you're kind of fiddling with both of the dials front and back at the same time, which just doesn't feel as nice. It's probably a little bit slower, but I mean, it still works. It doesn't really bother me because I'm quite a slow shooter, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. That's kind of the obvious thing with this lens, and another one that I tried out too, no aperture ring. Do with that what you will. Normally I would be holding the lens that I'm actually talking about at this part, but I'm actually using it on the camera to record this shot, and I must say I do think the 23mm focal length works pretty sort of perfectly for my office space here. Gives enough space to get in my shelves, gives enough space to show some wall behind me, and I also will have photos up on the wall very soon, which I'm very much looking forward to, getting some of my own prints up in the office. And thanks to the sponsor of today's video, I have some of those prints ready to go up on the wall, which is quite exciting. I mean, that wasn't a bad segue, was it? Pretty smooth. So let me just take a quick minute to chat about the guys over at MyPicture. MyPicture is a printing company that specialises in creating personalised gifts. They have so many different things you can print on, from mugs to blankets, cushions and other home decor items, which can make for great gifts. You can also print your own photo books, calendars, canvases and obviously photo prints, which is what we went for. We printed a couple of bigger framed prints, which you'll see in a minute, 2 smaller prints, and then loads of photos from my little Kodak Ektar H3.5 camera, which is just all me and Christina and friends and family stuff. It's just nice to have them sitting in the living room so anybody can take a flick through them when they call in. Our little gallery wall is slowly but surely getting there. Need some photos here. Definitely have to put something in that frame over there, but getting there.
Yeah, hopefully some kind of art over there. A couple of things here, but it's looking quite well.
How do you feel about having a picture of a gate with some crops in the background on your wall?
Some may say it's a little random, but it is a very homely feeling of that photo. It was taken close to our home, which makes a difference, but it does have that kind of home feeling to it, so I think it looks good.
So with these 2 photos, this one and this one here, we did something slightly different, something that we haven't actually done before when it comes to printing photos, and that is getting a print which is a photo board inside a frame. And I must say, I love how these look. There's just something so simple and minimal about it, but it's got a little bit of texture to it. There's obviously no glass or perspex in front of it, so you get this really kind of nice matte finish. You can even see when I have the light shining on it. It's just really soft, there's no reflections, and yeah, just really clean looking. Love how these look. So obviously MyPicture is sponsoring this video, but they in no way told us what to say in the video. They just said, order yourself some prints for your gallery wall or office and give your thoughts on them. Now this print here is obviously a film photo. You might have seen the video where I took this photo, I've had really good results printing my film photos, as you might be able to see with this one over here, and a few other ones that I printed as well. I've got really good results. They turned out really sharp, and obviously this one looks really nice. I do like it. It just is a little bit softer than I would have liked. I would like to see it a little bit sharper. Now, I'm not sure if that's down to the resizing on my pictures when it's being printed or processed, but it's just a little bit softer than I would like. I'm sure if I contacted the guys, they would sort it out and send me a new one or tell me what the issue there might have been. It is a reasonable size for a print, and maybe need it a little bit extra sharpening or just something done a little bit differently when it comes to the printing. But still, from the correct viewing distance, which is probably somewhere like this, you can't even tell. It looks great, and I do love the color of the frame as well. I think it works pretty nicely. Love how this one turned out though, really nice and sharp, and the colors look pretty accurate from my edit. And I'm actually just realizing that there's a pigeon in this shot that, despite editing multiple times, preparing for print, I did not notice. It's right there, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this one turned out great. I think it's just a sharpening issue probably with the other one. But yeah, if you've watched many of the videos, you'll know that I'm a huge advocate for printing your photos, the whole process, and just getting to see a physical copy of your photos. It's something I love doing, and I want to do it a lot more. And I know going to dedicated printing stores or framing stores and going through that whole process can get you really great results, but it's also very expensive, especially if you're wanting to do like a gallery wall like this and then maybe another one in a different room, or just put prints throughout your whole house. It can get expensive. So being able to print your photos in different ways and get quite a few photos for quite an affordable price from somewhere like My Picture is pretty hard to beat. So if you would like to get yourself or someone else some prints like these or anything else from My Picture, you can use the code YourBestShot15 to get 15% off your order. I've dropped the link down in the description below, so jump over, see what takes your fancy, print some of your own work, or maybe even some family photos. So thanks to the guys over at My Picture for supporting our work. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to get this bad boy hung up in my office. Now let's jump back into the video. So I don't think I mentioned this yet, but the lens does have autofocus, which for me on digital cameras is a must, as I've said in previous videos. And I didn't really have any issues at all with the autofocus. I did a few photo shoots with this lens, took the photos that you've seen. Christina also took the portraits of me that you've seen already, and didn't really have any issues. It locked onto the eye and nailed focus on those few portraits that she took of me. Obviously we're shooting quite slow with pretty still subjects. We haven't really shot anything at a fast pace, and it's not really something that we do too much or really at all, besides maybe the odd bird from time to time. So it can't really say too much on how it would perform in a faster scenario, but for what we've used it for so far, does the job. When it comes to weather resistance on this lens, didn't really see too much information about it. Normally with budget lenses, it doesn't really have much weatherproofing at all. So with this lens, and really any other budget lens, don't take it out when it's raining, or try not to get it absolutely soaked. You will likely have some issues. Keep it dry, get one of those little rain jacket things for your camera, or have an umbrella or something. Just the common sense stuff, really. I would say overall image quality, pretty decent. Now, I haven't done any proper tests because that just isn't my thing, as you would know if you've watched any of my other lens reviews, but I've definitely noticed some fall off in sharpness towards the edges and the corners. And I shot most of the photos that you would have seen in this video, or most of the landscape style photos, at f5.6, and I'll show you a few examples here of what I'm talking about. Now, I am used to shooting with 35mm f2, which is very sharp corner to corner, but on some other lenses I tried, I didn't notice much fall off at the corners, to be honest. Obviously with this lens being a bit wider, that may increase the chances of the corners being a bit less sharp. I'm not too sure. So in this one I was focused right on this sign on the wall in the center here, and there was a decent distance away from this scene, so from my experience f5.6 should have easily been enough to have everything sharp enough. But as I move towards the edge of the frame here, you can notice the fall off in sharpness. This shot of the villa maybe makes it a little easier to see with the roof tiles the villa was straight on in front of me, so the tiles should be sharp across the entire roof. But as I move to the edge of the frame here, you can definitely see that it softens a bit, and this was also shot at f5.6. I thought these gates would have made for an interesting subject just with how sort of wonky they were, but it just kind of turned out to be a bit boring and kind of a bad photo. But yeah, I focused right in the center here, and again at f5.6, and as you can see from the clip Christina got of me, I'm quite a decent distance away from the gate. But as you zoom in and move to either side of the frame here, you can see that the sharpness definitely drops off. Now unfortunately I didn't try any shots at f8. I would have liked to have seen if f8 made a difference to that sharpness, but normally on an APS-C sensor like this, f5.6 is kind of the sweet spot, which is why I take most of my photos at f5.6, but I don't think f8 would have made much of a difference, but I'll maybe take a few photos next time I'm out at f8 and just check that. It's definitely not a deal breaker, the sharpness, just something I've noticed more when I'm taking photos with this lens than I have on previous lenses. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. There is definitely some noticeable vignetting wide open at f1.8, and also a lot of the lower apertures, it is noticeable, as you can see in these portraits that Christina took of me. I also took a couple of shots inside just to see if I would notice a difference. The left one here is at f1.8 and the right one is at f2.8, and in both of them you can't see the vignetting. Now obviously you could crop in a bit and then you wouldn't notice it at all, but yeah, definitely noticeable vignetting at the lower apertures. Obviously not having an aperture ring is not ideal, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. The edge/corner sharpness, depending on the type of photography you do, or if you're someone who likes to print your images big, could well be quite annoying. It's certainly not ideal, but again at this price point, I don't think it's a deal breaker either. As I'm sure you're aware from this video and other lens review videos I've done on the channel, they're far from technical. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of people out there that create very good in-depth technical reviews of lenses. That's not something I'm really interested in. I just want to see and take the real life scenario photos and give my thoughts on them, and that's what I try to share in this video. And I think most of them turned out pretty nicely with no real major issues. The lens is a decent price, the images are fairly sharp. Yes, there is some vignetting, but overall from my short time using the lens and at the price point, I don't think you can go too far wrong. As I mentioned, I am using the lens to record this clip, which means I kind of get double the use out of it. I can use it for photos and for video, which is just generally pretty nice. So if you create your own videos or you're a videographer, it's definitely something to keep in mind that it's a nice focal length for video as well, and the autofocus and everything. Not that this is the best way to check, but seems pretty good. It's locking onto my eye and focusing as far as I can see from here. I think. So yeah, I think for the price point and in comparison to getting the Fuji option, for example, it's definitely worth a go. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you learned something from it if you're in the market for a new lens. Hopefully this helps your process, helps you make your decision. If you have any more questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll try to help you out. Thanks again to TTArtisan for sending us over the lens, and thanks very much to the sponsor of this video, My Picture. Always a satisfying process printing your pictures, and I look forward to covering this wall with some of my photos. If you did find this one helpful, a thumbs up is always much appreciated, and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I think that's it for this one, so as we always say, take it easy, don't be a stranger.